What a colorful room. Look at the diversity in this room. I don't think I've been in a room this colorful since San Francisco. Thank you very much. And I just dropped my speech. Yes. First of all, let me thank Jess Buller and Matt Sheehan for somehow hornswaggling me into agreeing to write and give a public address smack in the middle of the busiest time of the semester. What the hell was I thinking? And on Friday the 13th, no less, right? No, actually, I am very grateful to be here with you tonight, and I am glad that you are here. And if we wondered why we are here, to talk about leadership and to talk about diversity, I think the attacks in Paris today are exactly why we are here. Because we are learning how to build a world, how to be leaders in that world, where people learn how to get along with each other in a peaceful way. I mean, if that doesn't put things in perspective, I don't know what will. And I guess really one thing I need to say to you tonight is I have no freaking idea what to say to you about diversity, because I don't think we know what to say about diversity yet as a culture. In case you haven't noticed, we are having some struggles with diversity in the United States of America, all across the board. I mean, just heinous things happening every day on each of our campuses, every day, every night, right? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You know, and now that we see some of it on video, all of a sudden it's real. You know, what the hell? What kind of a world do we live in? What do? Do we give up? Do we hide? Or do we do something about it, right? And that's, so I want to, if you will walk with me for a little while, I would like to share something of my own experience with you, and let's see what we can figure out together, okay? And the question that I would really like for you to ponder while I speak is this: what is the truth? What is the truth that only you can tell? And I'm looking at you, that only you can tell. And the second thing I guess I should do is just go ahead and recognize the fact that the speaker for a conference on diversity is an older, white, heterosexual male from South Carolina, the poster child for privilege, right? That would be me. Well, that may be the wrapper that I come in, but that's not necessarily what's inside this package. Which truth might well be one of the major thrusts that we are learning about this weekend. You might say that I won the lottery the day that I was born. As I mentioned, white, straight, male, American, baby boomer. I mean, come on. What more could a body ask for, right? Well, a lot, actually. See, here's the tricky thing about privilege. It oppresses those who don't have it, but it is a trap for those who do. I have been fed lies from the get-go that white is right, that straight is the only way to go, that men make the rules, and America. Have I benefited from such falsehoods? You bet I have. But what gets lost? What gets lost in these socially constructed hierarchies? I have lived far too much of my life isolated on or near the top floor, quarantined from those who, in a less stratified world, the less stratified world, thank you very much, that you will help me build, please God, from those who might have been a friend, a soulmate, maybe a lover, or a life partner. And I never got to know them. They never got to know me because of these boundaries that we build. There is a poverty that comes with privilege. There is a poverty. We are all impoverished by it. And this, when there is so much diverse wealth, the richness to be had, if only we can find our way to a greater equality. If only we can do that. Maybe the scariest and certainly the most insidious thing about privilege is its invisibility. Its invisibility to the very ones who enjoy its amenities even as they lose their souls to it. I just didn't know when I was younger how high the odds were stacked in my favor. I had no idea. I thought, as I often hear students say in my classroom, well, you know, that's just the way things are, right? You can't change that. You know, Darwin, right? But here's what happened. I made the mistake of getting an education. And it wasn't just in those 4 years, my collegiate years. That was just the start of it. That's when things got started, right? By some miracle. And I'm not talking about a miracle in the sense in which an angel comes down with a wand and pops me on the head, pring. Not that kind of miracle. It was my pastor, Reverend Hayne Rivers, God rest his soul, who one day in 1974, for some reason, I still don't understand, went out of his way to put me in his car and drive me over to Furman University. And he went into the Office of Financial Aid with me, and he refused to leave until they offered me a scholarship, without which I would never have gone to college, and my life would be completely different in so many different ways, right? Why did he do that? I don't know. But what I will tell you is that every day of my life, I try to pay forward that good thing that he did for me. I try to pay it forward into my students, right? And I trust that they in turn, and they do, in their own time, in their own way, will pay it forward yet again. That is the great chain of karma, ladies and gentlemen. And looking back on it now, it was my time in those classrooms and taking notes and listening to that professor and talking with my classmates, right? And writing those freaking papers, right? Those were the moments that really began to open me up to a different reality, to help me see really for the first time my own reality. The social structures that shape us even before we know we are being shaped, right? That are invisible. The caste systems of which we are products and to which we do blind service, unless somehow, some way, we wake up and wrest control of our own minds, our own hearts, and our own lives. And there was another aspect of college life, and this is where it starts to get real, okay? There was another aspect of college life I didn't see coming. I didn't know, because nobody in my family had ever gone before. Are you a first-generation college student? Oh, yeah. You know, I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. Nobody to help me negotiate it. It wasn't a thing. First one in my family. When my older brother had gone to college for like 10 minutes and dropped out to become an artist, right? And there I was. And all of this stuff's happening. But I'll never forget, man. There I am at Furman, and I've grown up in that little house on South Pinckney Street, you know, and I'm just living my life. And I am so glad to be at college, my God. And I had a bicycle, and I loved that bicycle. And then I realized my fellow students drove their own cars. They had BMWs. They had Mercedes-Benzes. How could that even be? I didn't know another family that had one of those cars. And there they were, right? And it felt like they all had a secret language that only they knew. You know, that secret handshake that nobody ever took the time to teach me. I felt excluded. I didn't belong to that club, and I knew it. I didn't know why, you know, Still don't really. But it was weird, man, and it made me feel, there is a pain. And you know this pain, each in your own way, right? There is a pain that comes from being excluded that nobody who has not felt it can understand. And I know you know what I'm talking about, right? Those are the moments that make us who we are, right? And I will tell you this too. There is a poisonous bitterness that can come from that experience, a kind of hatred, right? That will drive people to do ungodly things to each other. Whether interpersonal, with words, whether with guns, whether with bombs, right? But here's the thing that I'm learning this semester, and I'll be honest with you, my students are teaching me. The thing that I have been learning this year is that it is that very experience of pain. That's what teaches us. That is what can open us up. It was because I felt excluded that I first began to understand what exclusiveness is and how wrong it can be and how absolutely necessary it is that we work together to eradicate it, to exclude exclusion, I guess you could say, right? That was the thing that did it for me. It began to give me a lens through which I could see privilege, how it works, right? And something of how it might be overcome. I mean, the scars we wear from injustices done can make us mean, and many people, that's what happens to them. They become mean. They become intent on inflicting wounds, and we've all done it. We've all done it, said that thing we wish to God we could take back, right? Done that thing we would undo in a heartbeat, right? Inflicting wounds on those we choose to see as enemies, right? But that same pain, if we let it, if we study it, if we recognize it for what it is, right? If we can find the courage and the company to help us, that pain can open us to the pain of others. It can help us understand who gets left out. To notice when we get into that fraternity, that sorority, who didn't get in, right? And not just say, well, that's just the way things are. Sucks to be you. No. But actually to care, right? To care. Not just to reach across that gap, but to address that gap. Why do we live in such an exclusive society? Why have we structured things this way? And they are structured, which means we can destructure them, right? And restructure them. That, it seems to me, is our job. But if we never notice it in the first place, tonight, what is your privilege? In what way are you privileged, right? Because you know that you are. And in what way are you excluded? Because you're that too. In what way, right? So the education that helps us to think and to think critically, right? And the openness, that wound actually caused by the pain can open us, right? So that we understand the pain, so that we understand that tendency to retaliate, right? Like a cornered animal. And that we overcome it individually, socially, structurally. How do we do that, right? How do we do that? How do we find a way to offer to others the balm of comfort, the very same comfort that we ourselves wish for, right? Solace, company, communion. So I am suggesting that it's the combo platter, okay? Education can open our minds, experience can open our hearts to the presence of inequity, unfairness, right? The plight of others, particularly those less fortunate than we, and our role in a scenario, in a society that we all know, is all too often, and for many of us, always unfair. So it can drive us one of two ways, right? And really the choice is ours. So as I began to figure this out, right, the next question for me became, what can I do? How can I help? I mean, I see that things are not right, and I don't like it, and I want to do something about it, but what? It's just me. It's just me, right? You ever feel that way? Like, what the hell can I do, man? Right? And I got to tell you, if you had told me as an undergraduate that I would be teaching college, I would ask you if you'd bumped your head. This is not what I had thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, you know, putting out a novel every couple of years. But here I am. Here I am. Almost accidentally. Almost accidentally. Do you have a plan for your life? You got a major? You got a career? Good luck with that, yeah. No, and I say that with love. I say that with love. You know, if it's one thing to plan wisely, but I think a part of planning wisely is planning widely. Just make sure you got some wiggle room in there because, you know, 10, 20 years from now, you might well not be. In fact, probably won't be where you think you might be. And if you don't know where that's going to be, relax. Major in uncertainty as long as you can, right? You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. But the key, it seems like to me, the key, and at least it has been for me, okay, is to figure out who you are. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you love, what you want, right? And part of that is figuring out who you're not. What is it you are not willing to do, right? Who is it that you don't want to be, that you are not willing to be, right? And damn it, be brave enough. Be brave enough. Quit worrying about what other people think about you. And the first one figures out how to do that, would you let me know? Because that's something that'll never leave you. It'll haunt you. It haunts me, right? But at a certain point, it's like, you know, I don't have the energy to care because I'm busy about something over here, right? I'm busy. Let's do this thing. There's a thing that needs doing. There's a thing that needs doing. And for me, it just happened to be I teach, right? And for me, teaching is not just standing in a classroom. I think my students will tell you this, right? It really is a social thing. And here at Elon, we're in a moment, you know, where we're really stressing diversity this year. It's about time, right? And I've been here 22 years, and I've seen the progress that has been made, right? And I also see the progress that needs to be made. And it's not easy, I'm telling you. As a university, as a state, as a nation, as a species, we are struggling forward. And as one who has been on this planet for 60 years, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, I've never seen so much radical and rapid change. And I lived through the 60s. You are living in a moment, and it is a scary moment, but my God, it is exciting. It is exciting. The doors that are open to you right now, I mean, the conversations, the public conversations that are going on, and they're hard as hell. You know, in part because people are getting hurt. I mean, physically hurt, losing their lives even, right? But that, what an opportunity. What an opportunity. So what you do in your college education in these years, right? Not just in the classroom, but with each other, right? The lessons that you learn, right? The equipment that you get to go out and do that thing that you are here to do. Oh, what an opportunity, man. What an opportunity. And honestly, part of what I'm trying to say to you is my generation. Well, I want to say we did the best we could, but we didn't. We did what we did, right? And I haven't given up yet. I haven't given up yet. There's still hope, right? Call me a kumbaya singing hippie, but I still believe in the possibility of peace, right? I do. And by the way, what's so wrong with singing kumbaya? Thank you. It's a cool song, and we sing it together. And I think maybe that's my point. We sing it together, right? We sing it together. And if it's ever going to happen, if things are ever going to be better for you, for your children, the next generation, right? We're going to have to do it together because the forces arrayed against us, both within us and around us, are mighty and relentless. And they will have to be stopped. They will have to be stopped. And it's going to be us. We can't do it alone. We're screwed. Individually, forget about it, right? But together, get the hell out of our way. Get out of our way, right? So there's a bus blowing through here, people. There's a bus blowing through here. And I would suggest you either get on it or move on out the way. Come on, let's do this thing. Let us do this thing. I am sick and tired of living in such a freaking beautiful world, right? And humans can be so awesome, and we just keep screwing things up, right? So how do we empower ourselves? How do we empower others? How do we shake that tree till the apples fall out, right? And you ever been to Biltmore House? Do you know Biltmore House? Asheville? Beautiful, right? I will never forget touring Biltmore House because it's such, to me, a symbol of our society and just the way that humans have always done it, which, again, Darwin be damned, it doesn't necessarily mean we always have to do it that way. But, you know, you walk through that mansion and it's just sumptuous, right? And I'll never forget that dining room, which is about as big as this room, and the table is like, 50 feet long, and I got this image of Henry VIII sitting there just eating on a hog leg, right? It was so amazing. It was so amazing. Did I just do that, William, right out in front of everybody? Yeah, okay. Cool. Welcome to my world. Then they took us downstairs. After all that, they took us downstairs. You know what's down on the bottom floor? Take a wild guess. It's the servants' quarters. It's the servants' quarters, right? And you go from rooms like this, little, basically closets. And come to think of it, those servants were closeted, right? In the basement. That house, this society, literally, and I don't use that word unless I mean it, okay? Literally, right? Built on the backs of the poor, of the servants, of the less fortunate. We don't have to live that way. We don't have to live that way, but that's the way it's set up. And if it's ever going to change, you got to help me. And that's what I'm pleading with you tonight to do. Please help me do that. Help me do that. It's not going to happen in my lifetime. I used to think that it might. That's the curse of being a hippie. But what a beautiful curse, right? I really thought this is going to happen. It's going to happen soon. It hasn't happened yet. Have we made some progress? Oh, yeah. That's the other thing I want you to remember. Because we had a moment in my class today. And those of you who were there know what I'm talking about. We had a moment. And it was so painful and so absolutely necessary. Where we were able for a few moments to sit in the presence of the pain that is caused by exclusivity and the difficulty that people of color live every single day. And what I carry with me is the statement, we are tired. We are tired. We are tired. And I get that. 60 years of watching humans be mean to each other all too often when it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. So this is what I want to tell you, okay? I'm tired too, in ways you can't imagine. But you will if you last as long as I do. We ain't done yet. We got work to do. We got work to do. And we stand on the shoulders of giants. No way's tired. No way's tired. And I'm going to say it out loud. White man or not, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Can I get an amen up in here? Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And here's the other thing. You are not alone. Just take a moment, look around, okay? Don't look at your phones, look at each other just for a moment, a little fleeting glance. Just look around. Those are your allies, man. Those are your partners. Those are your comrades in arms. Come on, think about it. Have you got their back? Can they count on you? Because it's not going to be easy. Can they count on you? Can you count on them? Can you count on them? Because it comes down to trust, man. It comes down to trust. Can't nobody do it alone. Can't nobody do it alone. I lost them. Just know, no matter how tough it gets, no matter how dark the way, okay, there are those of us who have been walking this path for a long time, and we will wait for you. And we need you. We need you to bring your energy, right? We need you to bring your truth. Figure out that truth and start telling it. And tell it, damn it, until people finally hear it. Okay? Live that truth. It ain't just words. Live that truth. Help us. Help us. I'm telling you, take this metaphorically if you're not religious. Take it literally if you are. We can build the kingdom of God on earth. In case you haven't noticed, the divine has no hands, no feet, no voice except ours. We are the voice of God, the hands of God, the feet of God on this planet. We can build the kingdom right here, I'm telling you. And I'd like to share a little something from someone who helped me see this. It goes like this. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion, too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer. But I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. And the world will live as one. Thank you very much.